In Warhammer 40k Mechanicus, you control members of the Adeptus Mechanicus, fighting against the evil Necrons, and you have NPC advisors to guide you. The Adeptus Mechanicus, they're like an alternate Earth Vatican, only all of the priests are cyborgs and they worship a machine spirit called the Omnissiah. It's basically taking religious lines about spirit versus flesh to another level.
For if you live according to the flesh, you will die, but if by the spirit you put to death the misdeeds of the body, you will live. The line of the flesh is death, but the line of the spirit is life and peace. Because the line of the flesh is hostile to God and does not submit to God's law, nor can it do so.
This makes for a strange setting, wherein holy incense and augments go hand in socket. It also makes the dialogue rather quirky. This is especially true for Tech Inquisitor Sivala, your head of research. Due to her many enhancements, she's the most machine-like of the group, and she uses code when she speaks. But all of the Adeptus Mechanicus have dialogue which mixes in their mechanical beliefs, and they are all dedicated to the Omnissiah, just in their own ways. And while there isn't much interaction with these NPCs, they just talk to each other, they do clearly have their own personalities, beliefs, and motives, which are revealed through what they say. Their beliefs do matter, too. Which advisor you choose to listen to the most, who you do the most missions for, influences how the game ends. There are 3 different endings. Well, technically there are 4, but the extra one is just what happens if you lose. You complete several missions to beat the game. Vidix and Sivala are the primary NPCs sending you out, but the others do have missions available sometimes too. On these missions, you control tech priests and other, less important units. You only begin with 2 tech priests, but you get more as you go. Similarly, you only get 1 other unit type to start with, but you'll unlock new unit types as you play. Their abilities vary. Since they're unlockables, I don't want to spoil what's unlocked, but as an example, the Servitor unit, which you start out with, is essentially cannon fodder. It's a meat shield that deals low damage, but grants you a Cognition Point whenever it takes a hit. Cognition Points are your action points in this turn-based strategy game. Using a point can let you move farther than your normal range, use a tool, attack, or call in extra units that you preloaded onto your shuttle for the mission. Some weapons and tools, which you unlock as you play, can take more than 1 point to use. All of this means that fights revolve around how you utilize your cognition points. You gain them either through events right before battle, towers during battle, fallen enemies, or canticles. Canticles are basically one-use spells. They're limited to 1 use per mission, and you can have multiple fights on a mission. So it's important to be strategic with when to use these. As with tools, weapons, and units, more canticles become unlocked as you play. They can go up to level 3 in strength. How many units you take on a mission is limited. The shuttle can be upgraded as you play and allow you to take more units with you. But your key units are always your tech priests. They can gather cognition points, cast the canticles, do a large amount of damage, and so on. Your supporting units are just that, supporting. You have to manually level up your tech priests at your base, and of course, they become stronger when you do this. You gain Blackstone as you play, and this is what you use to level up the tech priests. You choose a skill tree, pay the level up cost, and then get the benefits. More augmentation slots open up for use as they level up too. Open slots let you load more gear onto a tech priest. These slots are extremely useful. For example, since spells are limited, healing arms are helpful to repair damage on the battlefield. Additionally, claws that only do 1 damage are great for final kill shots, because if a Necron is killed with normal hits, then it's not actually killed. It's put into a reanimate, reboot state, and will need a little tap to be sent away. Since weapons uses are limited, a little tapper is rather helpful, because it's better to use the big guns for the big damage needs. But if you find new tools or weapons, then you can just switch out your old ones. That doesn't require more slots. Whatever you add isn't permanent. Leveling is still essential though, due to the boons and additional gear usage it gives. And the skill trees vary, so the boons are different depending on which path you traverse in order to level up. All of this allows for a diverse amount of strategy on the battlefield, which is nice. However, the fighting does get tedious after a while. New units are introduced, new items are unlocked, but the battlefields usually look the same, have similar layouts, and once you figure out how to beat it, it's pretty easy. Yet, because the fighting is done on missions, it's easy to just quit out and come back later. A mission usually doesn't take too long, so it's easy to just jump in and out of the game and beat it at your leisure without wondering where you left off last. This ease of jumping in and out helps ease the monotony of the battlefield, because it's easy to take a break from the game whenever boredom starts to set in, and then just come back to it later. For a turn-based strategy game though, it's not bad. It's just that once you know what to do, it is rather easy. For example, taking advantage of opportunity attacks is a simple thing, but it does a decent amount of damage. A little planning goes a long way. Anyway, that's basically the game. You go to the base, load up, load out, fight, go to the base, load up, load out, fight, over and over again until the awakened meter gets too high. You're supposed to beat the big bads before this meter hits 100%. It's basically the loading bar for the enemy to finish booting up. Your enemy is an ancient robotic race called the Necrons. The best way to describe them is as robotic undead, which sounds odd, but they are odd. On a side note, even their implementation is odd. Their voice actors speak in English, but the human-machine hybrids of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who you play, speak in mechanized gibberish. Though I think this part is just a weird oversight because in the intro, Reditus, a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, also speaks in English. Thematically though, the antagonist and protagonist combo is pretty neat. I mean, you've got tech priests fighting undead robots. It's a weird but entertaining spin on the classic combo of priests versus undead. The cheesy way it's implemented, candles and cyborg skulls, is also amusing. There's not much story here, there's no lore in-game to explore deeply, but what is there is entertaining enough. And side note, there is of course a lot of stuff out there for Warhammer 40k. It's just that the in-depth lore is not included in this particular game. Graphically, it's shiny and well put together. There are little details everywhere, from the glowing eyes on the icons to the background art of the base. Even the spells have good descriptions. It has thoughtful design, and the intro is great and really sets the tone of the game well. As for the ending screens, which I won't share due to spoilers, they are simpler, but still well designed. As for its sound, it's pretty good. The characters' voices are well done, even the mechanized gibberish ones. The soundtrack also fits the game well. I don't think that it's good enough to listen to outside of the game in general though, but one of the tracks, Children of the Omnissiah, stood out to me in particular as being really good. And I think that it elevated the soundtrack overall. Its chanting choir, beat, organ, synth sound, it's just an on-point mix of religion meets machine. The rest of the soundtrack has a similar sound, but that track is just so on point that it's...
Satisfaction archived. Superb auditory formulation. Logging data. Approval.
So, all in all, it's well put together and allows for a lot of variability in how you want to approach the battles. It's also a little silly, entertaining, and has multiple endings based on the player's choices. This means that while it's not an incredibly complex or deep story kind of game, I do think that it's still a well-made, pretty good turn-based strategy game.